Hello everybody, my name's Ash and I'm here to give you a life update in the year 2024. Wow, it's been 5 years since the last life update. And I realized despite recording hundreds of videos since then, I haven't uploaded all that many, and I'm honestly embarrassed at the quality and also at the tone of those videos. But yeah, I guess we can start with YouTube and what I think about that at first. So I've recorded 2 more videos on boxing, so that punching bag. One of them I really want to upload, like I want to title it something like Boxing, Kitty and Existential Dread, because well I just sit there on the bed for a while just staring into the void, I guess. I don't really know if I was putting on a show or what I was doing, but yeah. Now, the other thing I've done is record a 20 to 30 minute video of me cooking in the kitchen, making the best cake that I ever know, and I'm giving it to my mom so she can have it for her social gatherings, which means, you know, I'll get a slice at some point. I bought the wrong ingredient though, because when they restocked the shelves, they put a different product in the same place and the packaging is near identical. But it still worked, you know? I mean, chocolate is chocolate, it'll work. So the other thing is I recorded 5 videos and I want to upload them weekly, but I also kind of want to have like more. I want to have 10 so I can upload them, like queue them and just upload all of them at the same time and have them all release on Friday afternoon, let's say. And these videos are on religion, and I know that can divide people, you know. So I don't know if I want to do that, but it's been fun to record them, but I haven't really behaved the way I want. But at the same time, I think that's interesting if I upload them and my behavior gets better and better with each video. Like, there's this atheist channel, Genetically Modified Skeptic, and Drew, he is the kind of atheist that I want to be, right? He speaks kind of similarly to how I do now. He doesn't really raise his voice and he doesn't talk down to people, and that's the sort of guy I want to be. But I realize now after recording 5 videos, I feel like only the last one maybe met that standard, but I still think all 5 of them were good. So I feel like I'll just render all of them and upload them one by one instead of reshooting anything and just see what happens, you know? So this is obviously a series of videos debunking Christianity, since it's an obviously false religion, right? I mean, I don't want to get into atheism right now, but you know, the Christian God is supposed to be benevolent, right? Which means all good and everything he does is good. So if he does evil, he isn't benevolent and therefore isn't God and can't exist. So he committed the largest genocide in all human history with Noah's flood. There you go, he's already debunked. Or you can say one word, hell. Like, that's literally infinitely evil and malevolent, and like that's how easy it is to debunk Christianity. The problem is that you're not speaking to people whose frontal cortexes are fully developed. I mean, it's been proven that when you are raised religious, the frontal cortex doesn't get to fully develop, and on average they lose 18 IQ points, or roughly 20% of their intelligence. And then when they lose like 30 to 40%, you get like flat earthers, young earth creationists, anti-vaxxers, and anti-maskers. And that's some of the reasons why I care. The fact that, you know, it's dangerous for society to have religious people who become fanatics. But also I'm against it because, you know, they indoctrinate their children, which is brainwashing, child abuse. It violates 2 of their human rights, prevents the brain from fully developing, makes them dumber, makes them disadvantaged for the rest of their lives. Like, that's 7 evil things that religious people do to their children. So that's why I consider becoming an atheist channel, because, you know, I want to make the world a better place. Also, I started using lip balm because my lips have been cracking for years. Now, let's talk about real life, right? So, a lot of things changed. Like, I grew a beard, and I love it. Like, I've been trying that ever since I was like 19 or 20. I tried to grow a beard every 1 to 2 years, and I couldn't. But then at age 29, just boom, I could. It wasn't patchy anymore. So that's cool. I dyed my hair twice, once red because my mom wanted children with red hair, so I figured it would be funny. And I still have a little bit of red dye near the tips, so it's a little bit red in some lighting conditions, and that's fine. Also, I adopted a second cat. I should have waited until I moved, but I just couldn't wait for some reason. So even though my home is small, everyone said, yeah, it's okay, you can get a second cat. So I did. So now I have Princess Leia, and I have Lucy. And Lucy is half the size of Leia, but she's an adult, and she was a homeless kitten, or homeless kitty, I should say. And yeah, she's 2 years old. Leia is 7, I think, and yeah, she's very, very small, and I like that. I like that she's small. But she has lots of energy, loves to play, loves to be pet. Although she does have anxiety and still runs away from me. Just on occasion she maybe doesn't run away. Like, she doesn't run away if she's comfortable. Like, if she's in a bed or in a corner, then she never runs away. But if she's on the floor, she always runs away if I approach. So, yeah, it is what it is. She has anxiety. I can't really do anything about that, you know? But she seems to love it here because she runs over if I have food, she runs over if I grab a toy, and she always asks for more pets when I begin petting. So I think that's pretty good. And I've been staying more hydrated. So let's get into health and fitness, I guess. Because if you followed me, you know I've been through the ringer. I've been through 18 medical conditions, 4 months of starvation, over 50 years of medical malpractice. I've been physically assaulted 500 to 1,000 times somewhere. It's insane, you know? It's insane the shit I went through to become disabled right around my 20th birthday. So, you know, I became disabled just before 2014 started, right? Then the University of Winchester decided, hey, let's commit fraud, theft, torture, attempted murder. Let's force this guy into starvation for 4 months. And in writing, let's admit to stealing his money and refusing to give it back. And let's also say we don't give a shit that he's about to die of starvation. Like, I told them, if you don't refund the money you stole, I'm potentially gonna die, which means you don't get the money that I owe you. And they said, well, you should have thought about that before you studied here. Now, if I hadn't been so mentally ill back then, I would have realized that, hey, wait a minute, they violated our contract less than 1 minute after it was signed. Like, that literally freed me from the obligations and the debt, and I didn't realize. Like, they wrote the contract, they violated it, I was free. I could have just gone, I could have just never paid those 10, 15,000 pounds, however much it was. Just, But you know, hindsight, when you're mentally well, hindsight works. But yeah, the starvation they forced me under was a problem. Like, I went to England with a six-pack. I used to work out every single day, and whenever I went to the gym, which was once a week, I did thousands of sit-ups, literally thousands, because they had this awesome abs machine that I called the six-pack machine. And it was phenomenal. But I left England weighing 50 kilograms. So I lost 27, I gained back 54. So a year after the starvation, I weighed 104 kilograms. Oof. And between age 20 and 27, I tried 12 different exercise programs, and I had 5 personal trainers in that time. Now 3 of those times it was always the same lady, but 5 times out of 12 I had personal trainers that helped me work out at the gym. But I tried, you know, swimming, I tried biking, I tried going just to the gym, doing my usual stuff. And in all those 7 years, every time I worked out, I got weaker, and the longer I worked out, I got weaker. So every single week, I could do less than the week before. And on average, after 3 months of exercise, I couldn't lift 1% of my body weight 10 times. So I would have the dumbbell in my hand, right? And instead of being able to do that, a full 45-degree rep, instead I could do that. Just, it stopped right there. 100% power, 1% of my weight, I could only lift it that much. That is insane. That's insane. But then I took a break, right? I just swore off exercise. It hasn't worked for 7 years. Swore it off for 2 entire years. And something that happened with my weight, right? So at 20, probably, maybe we should say 21, since I weighed myself after the starvation, after I turned 21. So I weighed 104, right? And then at age 22, how do I word it? Okay, so I worked out for 3 months, got super weak, then I stopped exercising. Over the next 3 months, I gained up to 107 kilograms, and my weight was stable for 2 years. Then I worked out, and I got weaker. I quit. So now at age 24, like 3 months after exercising, then my weight slowly went up to 110. And then the next 3 times I exercised, I believe my weight went up again to 112, 115, and then 118. And ever since I quit that exercise program and went up to 118, ever since then my weight has gone up and up and up every single month. Just a few 100 grams, right? But then age 29 hits, right? Like, or just before then, age 28, seeing my doctor about my obesity or morbid obesity. Just, I need to lose weight. I weigh 127 and he can't really help me until I reach 128 or something. So he recommends just chugging a lot of water. So next time I see him and weigh myself, I weigh enough. But then it starts, right around my 29th birthday. Woohoo! He's able to help me finally, and because I qualify for help. Yay. Now, one part I don't really want to say, is that I got weight loss medication. The reason I don't want to say it is because I want other people to be encouraged to lose weight through diet and exercise. But, I gotta be honest, I got some weight loss stuff. And in this case, it was appetite suppressions. Now, the first one I got awful, made me feel like I was dying, horrendous. But the second one worked really well, just giving me a headache and fever. But I didn't need an appetite suppressant. I was eating 2,100 calories per day. But I had reached 128 kilograms. However, one thing that my doctor told me, and the main reason why I lost weight, was because of that advice. He told me, just walk every day. Just walk however much you can. Just try it, just walk, and just pace yourself. And that's the main advice that made me lose weight. It wasn't the pills, it wasn't me eating 1,600 calories a day. It was the walking. And, I still lost weight after I quit the pills because I didn't need them. So it's a bit weird that I was put on pills when the amount of food I ate wasn't really the problem. But, I listened to my doctor's advice, I trust him, just whatever. So I started, actually a year before this exercise program, actually a year before it. That's when I made my own self-help program. And that included a 2-minute walk each morning. Just going outside, walking down the street and back, right? So for an entire year, I worked on tidying up my home. I worked on doing the dishes more and just walking every day. And so when I then had to exercise every day, I just started with my 2-minute walk, right? And then a week later, 5 minutes. A week after that, 10 minutes, then 15. And then I went from 15 to 30, and from 30 to 45, and then I got a lot of pain, a lot of issues, right? Every single exercise program had made me weaker before, right? So I was really, really pacing myself, and I had to stop at 45 for a long time. Then I went up to 60, and I felt so bad I had to stop there for a while. Then I moved on to 75, and I waited a long time at 75 before moving to 90. So doing this exercise, I lost 5 kilograms a month. I lost 45 kilograms in 10 months. The first 8, I lost 40. That was amazing, but it was also too fast. But as it turns out, what I figured out through self-diagnosis is that the University of Winchester, when they starved me for 4 months, what they caused was permanent deep tissue damage in all my muscles. And that's why I can't exercise. That's why when I lift dumbbells, after 3 months, I can't lift 1% of my own body weight 10 times, right? I can lift it once or twice, and then my muscle just stops after a small little lift. It now makes sense. I have deep tissue damage. My muscles were literally eaten away until there was nothing left to repair. So some of the strands are just missing. That's why it takes me so long to repair muscles after exercise. But this is also why walking worked, because I have chunky as shit thighs. I have ginormous thighs. Even if there's deep tissue damage here, it's not so bad that I can't walk every day. So of course it hurts a lot, you know, I mean my back was also atrophied by the starvation, and so whatever deep tissue damage is there is a pain in the ass. Like it really hurts my back to walk, but at the same time the health benefits outweigh the negatives, right? So I'm finally at my ideal weight, and my weight was stable for 6 months, but in the last month or so I've actually lost 1.5 kilograms. I'm actually at 82 kilograms now. Almost at my peak of 77. Like, as long as I'm below 90, then that's basically perfect. I mean, I'm gonna have, you know, a little bit of skin. Like, I'm lucky that I'm just 30, so, you know, I don't have loose skin, but I have what I call stretchy skin, you know? Like, it was able to pull itself back. Like, the only problem area might be the belly, but it's not really... It's not the problem. Even my doctor said that that's phenomenal. Like, the skin is just stretchy. But I do think there is some amount of excess skin, but like in kilograms I would say definitely less than 5. Definitely. And that's like counting the arms, legs, everything, the entire body. Like, I know my back has a bit of stretchy skin. There's probably some extra skin cells there. I notice that when I'm in bed lying on my side and rolling over towards my back. That's when I feel the skin folding, you know? So I know there is some extra skin here and there, but it's not enough to call it extra skin, you know? It's just stretchy. It's fine. It's fine. Like, my front is almost flat. Almost. Like, the belly sticks out a little bit. Like, as I lost weight, instead of, you know, if this is the crotch and that's the belly, instead of it being folded like that, you know, it gradually moved up. It was at 90. Is that 90 degrees? Well, I guess it is. Just 90 degrees straight out from the crotch, and now it's more like that. So, you know, it used to be like that. Used to be flat. Had a six-pack. Never gonna have that again. But now it's sticking a little up. And that's fine. You know, that means there is a little bit of excess, but I'm at my ideal weight, and it feels so good. But also I started boxing, and sometimes I box so much that my body starts to dry heave, you know? Like, when you exercise too much, you can vomit. So, boxing is really fun, and I love it. But also, my arms, despite getting weaker from exercise, I can just box a little different, you know? I can adjust each punch, so it's not that hard. And one of my favorite things to do is to just do 5 minutes. Just box for 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be a full 30-minute session. And it's fun. Like, exercise is supposed to be fun. So, with my walking too, sometimes I'll bring some food for the ducks, and I'll just sit there, you know, just sit in the park, feed the ducks, enjoy life. Like, I'm a nerd. I sit on the computer at least 8 hours a day, you know, but sometimes it's nice to just sit in the park and just breathe, just exist. Like, taking it slow every now and again is incredibly healthy. There's one mustache here that's out of place. Meh. But it feels so nice just sitting there, just just breathing, enjoying fresh air. It's peaceful. But yeah, goddamn, like my life is so much better than it used to be. I'm still mentally ill, but boy, I am nowhere near as ill as I was. Like, I am mentally well, even if I'm mentally ill, if that makes sense. So, I also found out that among my conditions, right, I had actually 3 sleep disorders at the same time. 3? That is insane. Like, sleep apnea. I now have dentures to help me with that, so sleep apnea is awful. Then there's the sleep phase syndrome, where I have more hours in my day than 24. But the sleep phase syndrome was almost cured by my cat when I first got her. Then I got sleep phase syndrome again, and eventually I got rid of it. And one of the things that helped was having steady routines, and like my self-help program of going outside every morning and whatnot. That helped. So sleep phase syndrome is no more. But then since the age of 8, I have needed like 2 to 4 hours to fall asleep every night. And that is still a huge problem. Like, the daily walks helped a lot for a period, but then it just stopped helping. I don't know why. Like, I used to be able to fall asleep faster, just 30 minutes. And that felt awesome. Falling asleep in less than an hour was amazing. But that doesn't happen anymore, and I don't know why. But let's go over those benefits, right? Falling asleep faster, sleeping better, waking up more rested, waking up with more energy, just having more energy in general, and being happier, and also losing weight. Those are the 6 core benefits of walking every day. And the fact that I wake up earlier automatically, like sometimes as early as 4 a.m. feeling rested, like, that means I have more hours in the day. Like, my walking pace has also increased, so now I walk my 90-minute walk in 60 to 70 minutes. And the fact that I prioritize doing that as soon as I wake up, it just makes my body ready to get out of bed. Like, all the hormones and all the energy is already in place. Like, while I'm sleeping, my body prepares for this morning exercise. And that's awesome. But, yeah. Gotta reply to him, okay. So, those were my sleep disorders, yeah. But then, one more update, I guess. The weight loss, it had a side effect that nobody told me about, and another side effect nobody told me about. So first of all, increased hunger and appetite. So at first it was just permanent appetite, where just, oh, I can eat. But eventually it became, I wanna eat. Why did nobody tell me that? Like, 3 months or so after having lost my weight, and just maintained my weight, that's when I was suddenly just hit with more appetite than hunger. So my body wants 4,000 calories in a single day. It doesn't shut up unless it gets that much. So now eating 2,100 calories, like I did for 12 years? Yeah, no, 14 years. For 14 years I ate 2,100 calories. And now my body isn't happy with that. So I end up caving, actually. I end up in the 2,400 area, I feel. At least I've been tracking the calories, so I can check my thingy-majiggy. And my monthly average should have been like 60,000, but it's been closer to 70,000 per month now. So I'm not sure what that averages to per day, and I don't really care. And in my sheet I have 1 month as 28 days every time, so it's not aligned with the calendar. But yeah, I haven't gained any weight despite eating a little bit more on average, and that's good. Like, the walking burns calories actively, right? But it's also built a little bit of muscle, so that burns calories passively. But yeah, I still can't exercise like I did 11 years ago, and I can't ever get a six-pack again. That feels like shit, but it is life. Life is life. At least I'm kinda happy now. Now the next side effect of weight loss nobody prepared me for was gallstones. Yay. So in over 10 years, it's the first time I've had pain at level 10. 10 out of 10 pain. I said out loud at the emergency clinic, kill me. I said that out loud, just, it was horrible. Like, I was used to my Bechdreff's disease giving me 10 out of 10 pain from age like 8 to 18. But when that gave me 10 out of 10 pain, it made my nervous system short circuit, like a copper wire with too much current flowing through it, making it go red hot and melt. That's how painful my Bechdreff's disease was. But gallstones, I would say they were equally as painful. And I had on and off chest pains for 5 months. And I took some painkillers every now and again when it was bad enough. But then, boom, this day happened. It was so bad, painkillers didn't work. I called an ambulance, I was given morphine, sent back home. Then next day, same thing, morphine in the ambulance, ER checks me out, sent back home. Then third day happens, I get sent straight to the ER without seeing an ambulance, and I don't get any pain relief for 4 hours at the ER despite being in 10 out of 10 pain. And they knew 5 milligrams of morphine in the blood was not enough. They knew it wasn't enough for 8 out of 10 pain. And now I'm with 10 out of 10 pain, even worse. And they decide to give half that amount of morphine in the friggin' muscle? Like, that makes no sense. Like, in the blood, it works super quickly. In muscles, it works at a medium pace. And in the fat, it works slowly. So the fact that they tried to give me pain relief in the muscle made no sense, especially not such a tiny dose. Like, when it's so painful you want to die, when it's so painful your arms go ice cold and they lock themselves like this, just fully tensed, I can't move them. Like, I'm breathing so labored that I'm almost fainting. Like, what were the doctors thinking at the ER? Like, that was a traumatic ER visit, holy shit. And it took 6 entire hours at the ER to actually get good pain relief. And I just don't understand. I don't get it. Like, it took 4 hours just to get pain relief, to make the pain go down a notch. And then they were like, oh yeah, let's try to just... Well, how do you translate it? Try to swat the last bit of pain. Like, I said the pain was still at a 7, which is a lot. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna give you 2.5 milligrams of morphine in the fat. In the friggin' fat? Are you kidding me? Where it takes hours to work? Are you stupid? So of course the pain went straight back up to 8.5 before it had even started working. So yeah. Just, that ER was horrendous. But then, you know, the next morning I have an emergency appointment with my doctor about this. And I didn't sleep that night. I'm still in pain. And my doctor says that, yeah, at the ER I was given so much morphine in total, they should have sent me straight to the hospital. Like, according to our legal texts, they were required to send me to the hospital, and they didn't. So he did. I was apparently given 12.5 milligrams of morphine in total, in combination with another painkiller that I can't translate to English. But yeah, the hospital said I had gallstones, and it was painful. Like, the doctor put his hand on my abdomen and smacked, and oh my lord, what the hell? That was like a bunch of knives stabbing from the inside out. But like, I remembered so well all the crap from the gallstone pain. Like, when I was breathing, it felt like every single rib bone was made of barbed wire. Genuinely, it felt like every rib bone was made of barbed wire. I was just getting pierced everywhere, every single breath. Like, I thought this was inflammatory pain from my Bechdreff's disease, especially because it sat in the sternum with all the different joints that are inflamed. But nah, the pain has eventually moved to the right side of the rib, but it was also hurting under the rib. Like, I remember I told my doctor about that pain just under the rib, and I told them about that at the ER too. But despite telling the people at the ER just under the rib there is some pain, and that's kind of weird, and it can sort of hurt when I press here, but other times it doesn't hurt when I press there. It's weird. Despite that, the incompetent doctors at the ER, they thought that this was tension pain caused by the muscles of the ribs being tense. Like, no, I'm sitting up straight now. I sit up straight when I play video games, okay? I'm not hunched over like this very often. I'm not hunched over like this, okay? This is not my usual posture. So that was just very strange, very bizarre. But I was given tons of pills at the hospital, and I assume how they got rid of the stones was with acid tablets, because that's what I've read about. They didn't tell me how they got rid of them, but, you know, since I was only given pills and also some IV, I would say, yeah, probably acid. And they wanted me to remove the gallbladder. So, two things about that. There's like a 5-day limit for removing your gallbladder, and it was like my 4th day or something like that, and they said the risk is just too high to remove it right then and there. Simply too much time had passed, you know, since the symptoms flared up. So your episode of pain needs to be 5 days or less. So yeah, they couldn't remove it then and there, but if they could, I would have said yes. Instead, they scheduled me 2 months later, saying to remove it in the future. But I said I would prefer to keep the gallbladder if possible, and surgery always has risks. So the surgeon said that the risk is 50%. 50% chance to get gallstones again. Ooh, awful. But if I drink 3 liters of water a day, I gotta refill it. If I drink 3 liters of water a day, and especially if I drink with my food, then I can wash out the gallbladder and prevent stones from building up. And also, weight loss, you know. I said that, you may have forgotten, but this is a side effect of weight loss. So yeah, my risk for gallstones should be increased until December 2025. And after then, the increased risk should be gone entirely. So if I can last that long without eating too much fatty food and drinking lots of water, I should be safe. But if I get gallstones one more time, it's out. The gallbladder disappears. But I would prefer to keep it, you know, it's an internal organ, it's part of me. I don't want to lose part of me, even if it's a pain in the butt. Well, technically a pain in the gut, but yeah. So never say I lost my humor, I guess. Even though I'm not that funny. I'm just silly. But yeah, that's a long life update. Sheesh. And now I can finally get to the final point. So, I'm born into a particular generation, you know? And the economy is screwed. Getting a loan for a home is impossible and whatnot. So I'm in the situation where I'm literally waiting for my grandma to die so I can start my life. Like, I'm in my 30s and can't start my life until my grandma dies. That's how screwed the economy has become. That's how screwed the world has become by the last 2 generations before me. But when my grandma dies, you know, she has a nice apartment. My aunt doesn't want it. My mom doesn't want it. So when grandma dies, I just move right in there. And so I'll need to take up a loan from the bank and buy my aunt's part of the apartment, right? And my mom, I'm not sure what we'll do, if I'll buy hers or rent from her, or if she'll give me an advance on the inheritance. Like she said, we'll figure it out when we get there, right? I just don't want my aunt to be screwed, you know? And if I could, like, get a loan and pay her $100,000, that should give her enough capital to buy her own place. And then finally she can own a home for the first time in her life. Or she can just keep renting. I mean, she's old enough that it's maybe it's not worth buying a home. Yeah. Either way, I want my aunt to have a good life and not be screwed, you know? But yeah, dementia. Like, my grandma should have less than 8 years to go, and from my lack of medical experience, just reading online, she's entering the middle stages of dementia now. Like, she's been in the early stages for a year or two, I guess. But she seems to be having like a frontal type dementia. She's struggling with the numbers and dates and such, and she's struggling with rational thinking and such. So I feel like she's entering the middle stages, but I'm no medical expert. Like, yeah, I studied to be an ambulance driver, so I can technically say I studied medicine, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not a therapist. I like, you know, what's it called? Budging my lane, I guess, instead of staying in my lane. I like stretching the lane a little. Yeah. But speaking of family members with health problems, my sister has cancer. Yay. 2 tumors. Yeah. And she's inoperable. Like, she has seen so many doctors and surgeons, had so many... I don't know if you do MRIs or X-rays of the head for tumors, but yeah, her brain cancer is inoperable. Like, one of the 2 tumors could be operated on, but she's gonna be paralyzed if they do that. Like, they just flat out said, you will be paralyzed. So, no, she'd rather live her life, and when she goes, you know? And I'm gonna miss her, because she's one of the few people that's been nice to me in my whole life. But I don't want to talk about that and start crying, you know? I'm a sensitive boy, okay? I'm a sensitive, okay? So I don't want to cry. No crying. Thank you. I also want to say that early on in my weight loss journey, I went to therapy for 3 months. Technically 3.5, and I had a 2-week break in there somewhere. So he helped me deal with my sister's cancer diagnosis a bit, and he helped me start taking my chores a bit more seriously as well. Like, I told him I'm not that mentally ill, but I need someone to light a fire under my ass. Just need someone to kick my ass into gear. And he did. So that was phenomenal. 3 months of being followed up, just being told to clean my bathroom with a spare toothbrush, and yeah, I cleaned my entire oven, I cleaned the entire microwave, toilet, sink, floors, walls, just everything cleaned. Man, that therapy was worth it. Expensive, but worth it, I guess. And it's left a lasting impact and a lasting impression that I should do things on a regular basis. And it's so much easier to maintain what I have, just clean every 2 weeks or so. Just, yeah, it's way easier to just maintain what you have. Man. So I think that's a good note to end it on, you know? So that's my life update for 2024. I'm finally at my ideal weight. I'm enjoying exercise. I have 2 cats that are phenomenal and love cuddling. And eventually, I'll get my own apartment. When and if Grandma dies, which will be sad. I'm gonna miss Grandma. Oh well. Life is life, you know. It moves on. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.